What's up guys, Houndish here, and today I thought I'd jump in with a bit more of a general update about where I'm at, both with Destiny, but also the rest of my life, because things over the past year or so have been pretty crazy. And so as a heads up, we are going to talk Destiny and the channel here in a wider sense in a moment, but I've also been spending a fairly significant amount of time on other projects and other things, and I have an update which will at least be significant in my life and the future. So there are a couple of things I want to talk about if you guys are interested. Where do I even start though? Firstly, something that I haven't announced or spoken about just yet, but me and my girlfriend Eve are happy to say that we're having a baby. Mind absolutely blown over here, by the way. We are about 5 or so months along now, so we've definitely known for a little while, and I've wondered how and when to throw that into the conversation, since, of course, naturally it's going to have an impact on my content, especially early on, right? But nonetheless, it's a thing, and we are having a baby girl according to our last 2 scans, so we're both incredibly excited about that, and I figured now that I have a bit of a breather, it's probably something I should let you guys know about as well, because sometime around early July, I could be very much AFK for a few days here and there. In fact, they've given us the due date of July 4th, remarkably enough, so that's pretty cool, right? And a bit of a random story, but we actually found out a day or so before the launch of Beyond Light, so while those content launches are insanely busy, I did have that exciting news in the forefront of my mind. And so there we go. I know for a lot of folks it'll probably be like, yeah, enough about your life, dude, but for others I know it will be something you'd be curious to know about. And in terms of content creation, it isn't something I'm massively worried about. You know, a quick note for the channel, we're still going to be doing our thing as many content creators with kids do, right? But of course it will mean changes in my life. And there'll be a point in the summer where I'm going to have to be a little bit quiet, but otherwise on the most part, I don't think it's going to change a tremendous amount for the channel. It'll just be a case of me finding different ways to manage all of that stuff, right? So either way, we're super excited and ready, I think, for the challenges ahead. So I thought I would at least let you guys know about that, but that isn't really why I've played a little bit less Destiny recently, and we'll get onto the Destiny conversation more in just a moment, but also since the start of this year, we've been working on a bit of a building project again at home, and you guys may remember the update from last year when we bought and renovated a house. That was a pretty big project to undertake while also working from home, but partially with a new baby in mind, we have been having an extension on the house built, which is something I've been pretty involved with, kind of managing the project, also doing some groundwork stuff around the new building, and then managing materials and all of the mess that inevitably makes, especially when it's done around an existing house, right? So that's been taking quite a bit of time away from me, but it does feed into the future of content creation a bit, because the garage we've been building is planned to eventually be turned into the new office to game and make videos from. So for now, the garage will keep a car and tools and all of those typical garagey things, hopefully not half the junk from inside of our house. But eventually, and we've made sure that we've built it in a way where it's kind of insulated and going to be powered up, ready for that fast conversion into a new office. So this could be an awesome space to have, and we may need the office that I have right now as a bedroom in a few years' time. So we're kind of giving ourselves options right there. And now has got to be the time to get it done, right? I don't want to be kind of finishing a building project, trying to be a full-time content creator, also with a newborn baby. So I have been investing the maximum amount of time possible into getting all of this stuff done so we can manage our new priorities later on in the year. And that brings me back to Destiny. So, like I said, I've been a bit lower on my playtime this season for all of the reasons we've spoken about, but I think Season 13 broadly has been a huge success, not in terms of being completely groundbreaking for a season in Destiny, but more from the perspective of the core quality of life, which many season elements have needed to see improved over the past year or so, right? I think one of the big pluses that we've seen with Season of the Chosen has been that it's delivered story which players actually care about and can actually follow. I think Bungie have done a really clever job of bringing Crow into the game and starting some of those story threads in Beyond Light, but then integrating and progressing that stuff this season with brand new story threads. Of course, Kronicle has been a pretty interesting character so far, and the arrival and interactions we've had with Kronicle have created an actual story arc over the course of the season. And the relationship there is pretty interesting as well, as we now, for the moment, have some Cabal on our side apparently, but Bungie have clearly taken the opportunity to bring other characters to life a bit more. We've had Saladin chiming in alongside Zavala, and then of course Osiris, who actually helped bring Crow back to the city. From a story perspective, all of these characters have some personality, or indeed are now actually being included in the upfront storytelling of the game. So I think that's been a pretty awesome element this season, and being a weekly thing, the story has been presented alongside some gameplay rituals with cutscenes and dialogue, and again, it means that even if you aren't super clued up on lore, there is a general understanding in the community about where the story is at and why. So that stuff can always be improved, but I think it's a big step up for season storytelling specifically, and I hope Bungie pay that forward. But alongside the loot we get via Battlegrounds, The mode has also been part of that wider weekly narrative. And then the other really big pluses for this season definitely include things like the weekly challenges. We've got that new layer of kind of curated progress and reward, which is totally healthy as an option, and awards hitting the main beats for the season. But also considering how many items were sunset or bits of content were vaulted, I feel like the weapons this season have been really good when you look at the big picture, right? Battlegrounds does have some nice stuff. You've got gems like the SMG and the rocket launcher, some pretty interesting new perks as a quick example, but then improving the quality of life and loot in playlists by adding weapons like Bottom Dollar to Gambit. Again, just as one example. And that's on top of the reprised Nightfall weapons, stuff like Palindrome, which naturally gets players excited. Actual new Trials weapons. I do feel like this kind of sets the bar higher for season reward updates and is way better than us just getting 4 new activity weapons like we've seen in some of the other seasons, right? And then there are other things which kind of help the health of playlists out. On top of the new weapons, we've got elements like title gilding, just giving us more reasons to be in those playlists for longer. And a lot of these updates kind of give the sense overall that the game continues to evolve in some way, as well as offsetting the fact that content vaulting is now a thing, right, year over year. So if we take all of that and also take note of the fact that Bungie have dropped plenty of updates and adjustments to the game, stasis updates, and have started to outline things they're going to do further down the road, I think while Destiny still definitely has its problems, there's certainly been a clear effort to improve multiple elements of the game season over season, and Season of the Chosen is a great example of that. So it's kind of hard to fault Bungie on the things that they have touched on this season, and again, that is a bit of a separate conversation to the elements of the game which could still use some work. But looking ahead, hopefully this raises the bar for Seasons 14 and 15. Bungie have spoken about some really good content updates over the next few months. Stuff that they're going to do with PvP, rituals like power, which they're mixing up again. The fact that they've addressed sunsetting concerns, at least for now. It feels like a lot of things are set up for the game to grow in a positive way. But of course, we should make no mistake that the next 2 seasons need to be pretty good. Naturally, we don't want to slip backwards, but also we are going to see an extended wait for the next major expansion, which will be early in 2022 with Witch Queen. So I guess we kind of come to the realization that seasons 14 and 15 are going to be the only bulk offerings of content at least in the next 8 or 9 months. And so in that time, players will definitely want to see the kind of updates that we've had recently, as well as touching on other key areas like PvP, which including Trials, Bungie have given us ideas about what they're planning to do in the future. So otherwise, we should probably be ready to have at least a couple of months here and there, which will be much quieter, probably in a similar way to how Season of Arrivals was at the tail end of things, where we saw that extended wait for the delayed Beyond Light. For me, I'll almost certainly appreciate some of that extra time we get since we'll have a newborn baby around, but at the same time, I do think about the content side and how to keep things interesting during that quieter time. Regardless, for the moment, with Season 14 on the way in a few weeks, we've got the return of Vault of Glass, the prospect of hopefully more content like what we've seen with Glycon, and again, hopefully a continuation of the general trend inside of Season 13 right now. Plenty of updates, new loot, and innovation to core rituals. If Bungie can kind of stay on course, then personally I am very excited about the future of Destiny. But as always, I'm curious to get a sense of what you guys think down in the comments section as well. What are your favorite things about this season, and how do you think it compares to previous seasons? But also, what are your biggest concerns moving forward? I'm definitely glad Bungie are outlining improvements to Trials, revamping systems, and future quality of life, but as always, time will tell. And I guess those are enough thoughts from me for the moment, so as always, give us yours down below on the conversation of Destiny. I know this is a bit more of a random video, I suppose, in terms of subject matter, but I guess I just wanted the opportunity to update you guys so you're not completely in the dark. As once again, no doubt, I'll have to take a little bit of family time there in the middle of the summer, but it's also good just to get a sense of how you guys are feeling about Destiny in general. Plus being able to give more of my thoughts about this season. Once again, while Destiny certainly has its problems in terms of a seasonal offering, if everything can be like this or better season over season, I personally see that as a pretty big positive for Destiny. So guys, share your thoughts as always, but thank you for tuning in, listening to me ramble. As always, I very much appreciate all of the support you guys have shown us here on the channel. I hope you're all staying safe and doing well. Let us know how you're getting on down in the comment section, but otherwise, whatever you get up to for now, I hope you have an awesome day.